Hey everyone, this is Dahlia helping young professionals with international careers. And it is my favorite time of the year because it's time to do our goal setting for 2019. And this time of the year, this is a time when you start being inundated with everyone talking about goal setting, New Year's resolutions. I saw an article recently that said why you should not make New Year's resolutions because they all fail anyway. And I'm sure a lot of us have had those situations where we have tried and we have failed, either because we lost momentum or we did everything we possibly could and we were not able to achieve our goal. And so I was thinking about how we should do this session today. I almost thought, what's the point of even talking about goals? Everyone's sick and tired of hearing about goal setting in January. But then I realized that goal setting was so key to my success. So why would we not do it together? And what I wanted to focus on was a bit less of this general New Year's resolution type of stuff and a little bit less on the whole goals aspect of it, and focus a bit more on career, even though, as we've been discussing, it's important to include your life goals with your career goals because all of it is very closely intertwined as well. And especially what I wanted to talk about were most of the problems that I'm seeing with people's goal settings, and a lot of the things that I'm noticing are stopping people from reaching their career goals. Because I've gone through this experience myself where I had big goals and wasn't achieving them, and then went on to achieve them afterwards, so I can see what shifted and what I had to shift in order to make that happen. And I'm also seeing the same thing with my clients and with a lot of you guys who are coming to me, and I can see what is holding you back, right? And we've discussed this together. So I want to make sure that you're setting your goals the right way so that you can actually achieve them. And so you're not becoming one of those cynical people who's going, what's the point of even setting a goal? It's not going to happen anyway, and New Year's resolutions don't work, and all of that kind of stuff. Because I think most of you guys, and based on what we've been discussing, most of you guys, you have a goal, you want to achieve it, and you just want to know how to do so, right? You're not here because you want to give up on your dreams. So here's what we're gonna do. I think that, oh, hey, Utkarsh, nice to see you. If you guys are there, let me know you are there. Let me know if you've done goal setting for the next year, if you've even started, if it's something that you don't even normally do. Have you set either New Year's resolutions or goals in the past? Is this something that you do on a yearly basis? Hey, Utkarsh got a job, congratulations. What kind of a job is it? And is it a job or is it the dream job? That's important as well. We can all get jobs, but are we getting, are we really achieving our goals? That's the important thing. So yeah, let me know, what's your next goal for the coming year? And I know some of you are starting new jobs this year. So this is going to be a really key time for you to A, start that job on the right foot, and B, look at where that job is going to be taking you. So when you start a new job, it's again an excellent time to set a new goal, either in terms of what you want to get out of that job or in terms of what is going to be your next step. Because if you don't, this is the thing, you guys, if you don't set yourselves a plan, what is going to happen is you always fall into someone else's plan, because there are other people out there who are really organized, who are really motivated, they know their goals, they commit to their goals, and guess what? You're going to kind of get magnetized into their plans and you won't even realize it. And this is the sad thing. So, in life, we're all going to be helping each other. We are, in a lot of cases, part of other people's goals. But what we want to make sure of is that we also have other people who are part of our goals, and that everyone's goals are kind of creating win-win situations for one another. And that you have a plan and a direction, and you are going into, you're going towards your own dream. So Utkarsh says he feels like it's his dream job with less money at the start, but keeps me happy. Excellent. So what is your goal for this coming year? I think that would be something that would be really great to discuss. What is the next goal for 2019 and beyond? What is that greater vision? And so the thing to remember, I think, at this time of the year, I think people tend to fall into two groups. For the most part, based on what I'm seeing, people get extra motivated, right? Beginning of January, end of December, this is going to be the year. This is going to be when everything changes for them and things are going to be different. We're going to be more motivated and it's going to be this kind of a clean slate and all of this kind of stuff. And as you guys know, most of the time, and this is why now we see all of these cynical articles being written about New Year's resolutions, as we all know, most of the time, these things just don't happen, despite that initial motivation. And there are so many reasons for that. Sometimes it's that the motivation starts disappearing because of habits, and it takes, people fall into old habits. A lot of the times it's just because how long can you keep up momentum when you're not getting the result that you want? So that's something that happens quite a bit. A lot of people are just lost. I mean, you can be motivated for a while, but if you don't actually know, if you don't have a plan to actually put that motivation into, so if you go, okay, I'm all motivated, here's my goal, this is gonna be the year, and then some people go, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna do it, and then you wake up in the morning and you don't actually know what it is that you need to do to achieve that goal. I mean, you probably have some ideas about what you could do, but you're not sure exactly which of those things are gonna make a difference versus not lead you anywhere. How long can that motivation stay, right? So the important thing is to remember that it's never about motivation. Motivation is a finite thing. It's something that you cannot have all day, every day for years on end if you're not getting anywhere with it. So you want to make sure, like if you have that initial motivation right now at the beginning of the year, that's something that is really valuable. You want to take that motivation, use it to create your plan, and then make sure you know what it is that you're doing for when times get tough, because they will. And so you need more than to just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to stay motivated, because you won't, because it's impossible. But what you need is that plan so that even when times get tough, you know what it is that you're doing and you can just move yourself forward. So yes, you guys know if you don't have your own plan, you're gonna fall into someone else's plan. You must know what it is that you're doing. And then the other thing is that a lot of people's goals are very similar to everyone else's goals. So, right, everyone wants to have a great job that they consider the dream job. Everyone wants to be growing. Everyone wants to be excited about their work. A lot of people these days, they want to be able to travel more and to have kind of international experiences, or to be able to work remotely from home, just in general, to have more freedom in what it is that they're doing with their lives and in their jobs. And obviously, everyone wants to be able to make more money, to be able to save more. Nobody wants to be living in poverty. I know a lot of you guys have struggled a lot in the past, being undervalued, not being paid what you're worth, and obviously nobody wants that. Everyone wants to be able to have that stability that comes with being a specialist and just earning more. So, the first thing to note is that these are great goals and totally doable. The issue is that that is what everyone wants. And millions of people are also super motivated right now and going, these are my goals, this will be my year. So if you want to get those positions, you need to be more motivated than everyone else, and you need to have a better plan than everyone else, because everyone else is also setting plans. And so you need to have this plan together, and you need to know, like I was saying before, step by step, what is it that you're doing? And I know some people are even getting stuck before that, where they're going, I know I want something better, I know I want to make a contribution, but they don't actually know what that thing is. So that would be step number one, which is to actually get that clarity around what is your specialization, what is it that you do in this world. If you don't know that specialization, do not go onto job boards right now and just start looking for potential boxes you might be able to fit yourself into. You need to get clear on what is it that you have to offer, what is it that you want to do, and you need to set that goal even before you start looking for jobs. So that's the first thing. And I want you guys to think about as well your mission, right? This is not just about fitting yourself into a box. Anyone can go onto an online job board and apply for stuff. That is what millions of people are doing, and that is why so many people are left stuck in the competition. So you want to start off with yourself and with knowing at a deeper level what is the contribution that you are creating in the world. So what is your contribution? Why do you even exist on this planet? I mean, if you stopped working tomorrow, would there be would there be any difference? Would the planet suffer, or would life just kind of go on? So if you're in a job right now where you feel like you're replaceable, I think that's why those positions don't feel good, because you feel like if you left, anyone can just replace you and it wouldn't really matter. Most of you guys I know want to be somewhere where it's work that requires problem solving, creativity, decision making, where you're really, really impacting the world and the organization and the work in such a way that if someone else was in your position, the work would be done differently. Maybe not, let's not say better or worse. It's not so much about that, but basically you're making a unique contribution, and you know that all of your decisions are affecting the result of that work. So ask yourself, you know, is the future of the world going to be any different if you stop doing your work? Why do you exist? You know, what is the point of all of this? And also, why is it worth making a sacrifice for this position? So you want to get really clear, I think, as we're heading into 2019, do a review of your previous year and even your previous years. For some of you, this might sound obvious. For some of you, you might realize that you actually haven't really been reviewing the past. So if you have been journaling, if you've been keeping a daily journal or a journal throughout the past year, you want to grab those journals, you want to read through them, and this kind of thing is going to keep you really honest about what is not working. Otherwise, what tends to happen is that all of the justifications will come up. So this is where people will take on jobs because they got a job as opposed to the job. I mean, the job really excites them. They'll just take something and they'll tell themselves, oh, okay, I got a job. Hopefully things will be better from now on. And if they were to really get clear on all of the things in their previous role that they didn't like, oftentimes they would realize that this is more of a horizontal step versus a real step up. So you really want to get clear on the things that are not working for you, not in a negative way, but just getting clear. Okay, it's been 5 years that I've been undervalued. Something needs to change, right? And until you really get clear on all of the things that are not working for you, so whether it's being undervalued, being underpaid, all the you know, how many applications have you sent out? You want to keep those numbers so you can realize, okay, I've sent a lot of applications here. I haven't gotten the job that I want. This is not working. And once you have all of that data, all of that evidence, you look at everything, you know, okay, on a daily basis, I'm only at maybe half of my happiness levels that I would like to be at, all this kind of thing. I know that's something that helped me so much when I started making big career changes. I literally looked at a scale, 1 to 10, how satisfied am I with X, Y, and Z? My happiness levels on a regular basis, my satisfaction in terms of the work I was doing, all of that. And when I rated myself, I realized, wow, I mean, that is not how I want to live my life. I don't want to live my life at a 5 or a 1 or a 2 or even an 8. You know, I want to live at a 10. Why shouldn't we live at 10s on the happiness scale, of the fulfillment scale, of the contribution scale? So if you're not at a 10 right now, or if you used to be at a 10, but you feel that it's going down because there hasn't been evolution or there hasn't been change or whatever the reason is for you, you want to start rating yourself and getting really honest about that. And then once you really, really know what's not working, all of the things that you're sick and tired of, then you're ready to move forward and start setting your goals. And then when we're doing our goal setting, this is where I'm always talking about aiming higher. Because what happens with goals is that oftentimes, if you think about when you're little, you dream of being all these crazy things and you don't care what anyone thinks about it. You just dream up what you want to do. And then as time goes on, people start telling you what's realistic and not realistic. Oftentimes, when you're a new grad, let's say, you're feeling motivated, you're feeling like I can achieve anything and I'm gonna work hard, save the world, and then nobody wants to hire you for the positions you want, and then you start settling. You go, okay, I'll just take this for now and hope that leads somewhere. I will work my way up the ladder, all of that kind of thing. And the problem with these approaches is that you're making the decision or you're doing your goal setting from where you are right now and not where you want to be. And the really interesting that happens with goal setting is that most people are too afraid to actually even say out loud what they want or even admit to themselves what they really, truly want. It's like they don't quite have permission. As soon as they say it, people start going, oh, good luck to you. That sounds unrealistic, or they just don't believe it. And I think that the biggest reason why we're so afraid to aim higher or to aim for what we really want is that we have this idea that if we get clear on what we want and we don't achieve it, then we failed. But if we never even get clear on what it is that we want, then we can't fail because we've never gotten that clarity. And so whatever it is we're doing, it's easier to justify that this was what we wanted, even if it wasn't. I see this all the time. And it might sound ridiculous, but it's really true. So I want you to think about, by trying to avoid failure, are you setting yourself up for failure? Because what is failure really? Everyone is thinking that setting their true goal or a higher goal, everyone is thinking that there's something risky about that, what if I set this goal and I fail at it? What if I put so much effort and make all of these sacrifices towards that goal and it doesn't work out? That's going to be risky. And I've heard a lot of you guys expressing to me that you feel like it's risky to really, really, truly, 100% get committed and go for what you want. There is fear. There is that perception that there's going to be risk. And so that needs to be reframed, because truly, truly, at the end of the day, what is the real risk here? The real risk is not going for what you want. The real risk is staying where you are right now. And I think that the reason our brains, and I'm not singling anyone out here or saying that this is not a judgmental kind of a frame here. What I'm saying is that this is what our brains do. My brain does the same thing, believe me. And so we need to get clear on the games that our brains are playing with us so that we can actually get to where we want to go, and stop believing some of the mind games that our brains just generate, right? That's how they work. So the first thing is to realize, what is the real risk and what is failure actually? Because if you think about it, for your brain, where you are right now, even if, I've talked to people who are in situations which are really not fun, like really tough situations, whether financially, they can barely pay their own rent, they're in these huge debts from student loans, so bad financial situations, people who are being chronically undervalued in the office, who are in toxic work environments, it's taking a toll on their mental health, on their physical health. I've talked to people who just feel so stuck and feel like they're starting to lose themselves and are starting to wonder if they're ever going to reach the level that they want to reach. All of these kinds of things, which are, and worse, I'm not even telling you guys the worst of the situations I've seen. And these are not fun situations to be in. However, that situation, to the person who's experiencing it, so whatever situation you're experiencing right now, no matter how many elements of that situation are not what you want, in fact, no matter how many elements are the total opposite of what you would want, that for your brain is your comfort zone. So that for your brain is the known versus the unknown. So even if you set this amazing goal where you have financial stability, you can save again, you're making a contribution, you're growing, you're around these amazing colleagues, for your brain, even though obviously that's a much better situation than where you are right now, for your brain, that is the unknown, and where you are right now is the known. That's where the known is what's not risky, the unknown is what is risky. And this happens all the time. Like we just did this client interview the other day where, my Arzo, who I was working with, she really, really wanted to get an international job, an international deployment. And then as soon as she got an international deployment, even though this is what she was working so hard towards reaching, right away the brain starts going, what about this? What about that? Where are you going to sleep? Is it safe, right? It's the unknown. Even if it's what she wants, it's still the unknown until it becomes known. So you want to just watch out for that and watch about how your brain will try to sabotage you from even setting that goal in the first place, because it wants you to stay where you are right now, even if that's not what you want. So I think that's the first thing, to get really clear on all of the things that you don't want about your current situation. And stop your brain from trying to justify all of those things. Because what the brain will say is, oh, maybe you're not happy with certain things about your current situation, but it's not that bad. Or, well, so-and-so is an even worse situation. Or for your age, you're doing pretty well. Or just all of these justifications, which it's not about right or wrong. It's just about you and what do you want. So for example, and again, I'm not trying to single out anyone at all. I just know that some of you were asking for more concrete examples sometimes. So one thing I see a lot is I will see people who had to move back in with their parents because they couldn't afford to pay their own rent. And obviously there's nothing wrong with living with your parents, right? But the question, and some people say, you know, I've gotten to spend more time with them, et cetera, et cetera. And those are great things, but you just want to think about, okay, for me, at my stage of life, is living with my parents my ideal situation? Or is this something that I just had to do out of desperation? And do I want to get out of that? So it's not about a judgment of good or bad or feeling guilty about it. It's just about, okay, this is not what I want. This is what it is right now. What do I want to change about it, right? And I just have another question here from Salim just saying hi. Hi, Salim. How about entrepreneurship? Failure is normal as long as we learn and move on. It's a very school mindset of failure or not. Happy New Year and great job. Thank you, Salim. Happy New Year to you. And that's a really good comment about entrepreneurship. But the interesting thing that I have found is that it's actually the same in career, like in getting job goals, just like entrepreneurship. So it's true that in the entrepreneurship world, people say, oh, failure is normal, don't be afraid of failure, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone's still afraid of failure anyway. And it's, you know, what you're saying about school setting us up for failure or not failure is, I think that school most likely has a big part to play in all of this, right? In school, you get your marks, you pass or you fail, and you get an A, B, or C, or 100%, 90%, 80%. And life is not exactly like that, right? It's not about your marks. It's not about, people are not positioned as, oh, this person is an A plus and this person is an A, so the person who got the A plus is going to get the job. And I think a lot of people still think like this, where I get people who talk to me and they're so confused and they're going, I don't understand. I have all these qualifications and I have this level of experience, and maybe I just don't have enough experience. I need to go back and get more experience, but I'm confused because the person who got the position actually has less experience than me. And they're just totally at a loss as to why they feel like they have an A plus and the person who got the job maybe has a B. And why would the person with less marks get the job? And it's because it doesn't work like that, right? It really doesn't work like that. It's not about A, B's, and C's and being graded, and then the employer chooses the person who has the highest mark. It is not like that. It is really about your access to the hidden job market, so many things in terms of how you're presenting yourself, what is the story that you're telling, and all of that. So yeah, again, it's about getting out of the failure versus not failure mindset. The real failure in life, I know that this sounds kind of coachy or kind of cheesy, but really, truthfully, the failure in life is not actually going for what you want. And you have to be really careful. Like I just talked to someone recently who, she graduated around the time that I did. It was during the big recession, the financial crisis. We were all being told, there's no way you're gonna get any job and good luck to you guys, but there's no way you're gonna get anything. And so she decided to aim lower. When I say lower, I don't mean lower in terms of a scale. I just mean lower in terms of this is what she really wanted, and she went into a different sector because she thought that if she went into something different that was more math oriented, even if that wasn't her dream, she thought she'd be more likely to get a job. So what happens when you do this is you waste a lot of time and money on a degree that then you end up being miserable in the position, and you end up going back and doing another degree and wasting more time and money so that you can finally get into what you really want. And then now you have additional doubts that you are a decade older than everyone else and all of this other kind of stuff to deal with. So you guys want to try to aim higher from the start. Don't start negotiating with yourself where you're going, okay, I think this is what I really want, but this will be easier. Because guess what? Nothing is going to be easy. It's all going to be really, really hard. Life is really hard. Career growth is really hard. And I say that enthusiastically because it's a good thing. Why would we want an easy career? That's not what we're here for. If you want easy, you guys wouldn't be a professional. Being a professional means that you're an expert, you're a specialist, and you're doing things which require expertise and which are not easy. I mean, you're developing in a specific field, and you have something to offer that not everyone else does. So it's going to be hard, but the important thing is that you've chosen your challenge and that you're excited about that challenge, and it's the kind of thing that you're so passionate and excited about that you will keep growing and you will keep learning. It won't even feel like work. At the end of the day, it's work. It's tough, but it's tough in a good way, in an exciting way, in a way that grows you. And I know for those of you I've talked to who are doing something that's not that tough, that doesn't grow you, where you're just not learning, that is a depressing thing as well. So growing and learning and having a challenge you can commit to is what we need in order to really be satisfied and in order to be happy. The key there is choosing the challenge that you're excited about versus getting stuck in a challenge that you're not passionate about. And then that's where people are not happy. So that is really the key there. And, these are just the things that I wanted to highlight to you guys because I see this all the time. So, I mean, let me know what your thoughts are. I hope that this doesn't seem obvious. I know that this kind of thing of, oh, the real failure is not going for your goal, all of that kind of thing can sound like rhetoric. It can sound like we've heard that before. It can sound like, of course, I'm not doing that. But really, really, you want to look at yourself and you want to get very honest about your individual situation because this is what I see with the majority of people. So make sure that in your case, you're getting very honest with yourself. And we need to do this all the time. I need to do this all the time. Every single day, I need to watch what are my excuses I'm creating for myself when things get hard or when I'm going for my big goals, because the brain will constantly try to keep you where you are. Always, every single day, you're gonna have messages that are being generated saying, oh, better watch out. That looks risky. That looks like the unknown. Better not do that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe for today, do this, and tomorrow you can worry about taking that decision, or tomorrow you can worry about the unknown. For now, do this. And this is the worst thing you can possibly do. That is exactly how to never reach your goal. So I don't want you guys to do that. And the first step really is to get honest about all the things that you don't want, and then absolutely aim higher, get concrete about your goal. So making a bit more money, or, oh, just being able to sustain myself. These are not concrete financial goals. You want to set your target salary. You want to calculate that. How do you calculate how much you want to earn? You do it based on what do you want to have in your life. So for some of you, it's I want to be able to move out and get my own place. For some of you, it's I want to be able to have a retirement fund. For some of you, whatever it is that for you that would make the biggest difference to your life. I know some of you guys are under huge financial stress at the moment. So maybe it's just how much would you need to earn to no longer have that constant financial burden on top of you every single day. That might be what it is. Or to pay down your student loans, or what would be the thing that would take away the most stress? Or maybe it's what would be the thing that would allow you to take that dream trip you've always wanted to go on, or to be able to, if your dream is like Ninke, to create an orphanage, how much do you need to earn to be able to start saving to create that orphanage, that kind of thing. And I know financial goals, at least it's a number, so it can feel easier to set. But even other goals, such as the exact type of specialty you want to be doing, who are your colleagues, what type of people are you learning and growing from? Are you working from home, or actually do you prefer to be in an office, or do you want to be in the office part-time and then the rest of the time you're at home just doing your deliverables and then you go in for meetings? You want to design all of that and make it concrete, and don't when you're doing your goal setting, this is not the time to settle, right? This is not the time to say, oh, but just to be realistic, I'm going to set my goal as this. Aim high to begin with, and then we can look at the steps to get there. But you want to start by having that overall vision. That is so, so important. So I'd like to know, at this point, what questions do you guys have? I know a lot of you were saying, I know my goal, but I don't know how to get towards it. I don't know how to actually make it happen. So I think one of the best ways to start working on that strategy towards making it happen is, number one, get clear, like I mentioned before, on all of the things that you have tried which have not worked, or which have not worked at the level that you want them to. And really look at all of those and think about how, what are the things that you have not tried? And some people will say, I've tried everything, there's no hope left. And so you want to make sure you have some hope left, because if there's no hope, there's no way to get to where you want to go. So get that hope back and then apply that hope to doing something that you have not yet tried. And a lot of the time, I mean, it's very rare that anyone will have literally tried everything. That's pretty much impossible. There is always something that you have not tried. Generally, why people don't try the things they have not tried yet is because, again, it's getting into the unknown. It's getting into another level of commitment that maybe up until now they've put in. You can put in a lot of time, a lot of effort into something, but generally speaking, you can do that within your comfort zone. So for example, just sending out applications for most people, there are some exceptions, but generally it's not that scary. It's no fun. It is soul crushing. You're sitting there behind your computer alone. You don't know if all this work is for anything. It's not fun for sure. However, it's pretty comfortable. You can just sit there, send your application, don't really have to talk to anyone, don't really have to pay any money for it. You don't really have to do that much. So it's no fun. It's a huge amount of time and effort, but there are certain things that are still pretty comfortable about it. So you want to think about what you've done, what you've not done. Some of you are going to be thinking, well, I've gone to events, I've put myself out there, and even that didn't work. But within all of these different strategies and things you've tried, I mean, even with the applications, okay, you've sent applications. There are nuances in there. What exactly were you saying in those applications? Maybe those applications weren't as good as they could have been, right? What are the things there? And I know that there are a lot of factors. People will say, well, I guess it could have been better, but I don't really know, and which things. And same with the events. Maybe I went to the wrong events. Maybe I talked to the wrong people. Maybe I presented myself wrong. There are probably a ton of nuances within those things that you've tried that you might be able to improve. So obviously, on this Facebook Live, I can't tell you guys, here is what you were doing wrong at those events. I mean, we'd have to actually work together so I can explain those nuances to you and see specifically for you what would need to be shifted. But you want to think about, what is it that you've tried? Within what you've tried, what are the things that could still be adjusted? And then what are the other things that you have totally not tried yet? And the most important thing there is to drop all of the buts. Because some people are going to say things like, oh, well, I haven't tried coaching, but that costs money. So I will do everything except spend any money. Or they will say, oh, I've tried everything except going to networking events, but again, it costs a certain amount of money to go to those events, so I'm not going to do it. Or they'll say, oh, I've tried everything except knocking on the door of an office and actually just going in and introducing myself. But I'm not going to do that because, because then I might get arrested by the police. I don't know. But people will say, there's always a but in there and all these different excuses. And I'm not saying that you should just go in and knock on the door and, do that if that doesn't make any sense. Just like you shouldn't just go out there and hire a coach and then the coach doesn't actually help you because maybe your goals were not aligned or something like that, or they don't really get what it is that you're doing, or they're not really offering you any personalized help. So I'm not saying to just do all the things that you haven't tried yet, because maybe there's a reason why you've been afraid of doing those things. But get clear on what exactly are you afraid of, and are you giving yourself buts where you're saying, I will do this. If that doesn't work, then there's no hope for me. Or, make sure you're not blocking yourself just at your sticking point. And so I hope that helps. I don't see any other questions right now, but if you guys are watching the replay, just let me know what it is that you're struggling with in terms of your goal setting. So where exactly are you getting stuck? What is your goal? What is your career goal for 2019? How quickly do you want to make that happen? And what are all of the things that are stopping you? Because this is really the key. Before you can start creating your plan of action, before you can get clear on what you do want to do, we need to get clear on the things that are stopping you. Otherwise, we cannot create that plan of action. So yeah, let me know which things are stopping you, or sometimes it's not really clear which things are stopping you, but type out, type in the comments, what are the things that if there was anything blocking you, what do you think that thing would be? And then the other question that is a big, big one that is so helpful, and this was one of the questions that just by asking myself this, I was able to be propelled forward so much more, was to ask myself, if fear was not holding me back, what would I do? This one will create such big breakthroughs for you. So if you were not afraid, if you stopped being in doubt, if you stopped being afraid that your goal would not happen and you knew your goal was going to happen, what would you do? And you want to make all of your decisions from the goal, not towards your goal. So this was something we talked about earlier, where as opposed to trying to climb that ladder, you want to go get clear on your goal and then work your way back down. So go, okay, if I was already in this amazing position that I want, what would be my decision today? Because what tends to happen is that we make our decisions from our current situation. We make them out of scarcity. We take them out of desperation. I've heard people say things like, oh, well, I will never be able to do that. Well, if you tell yourself you're never going to be able to do something because you're thinking from where you are right now and it just seems totally unachievable, there is no way at all that you're ever going to make it. So never tell yourself something like never, unless you really, really want to stay where you are right now and never get anywhere new. Never tell yourself never. That is totally going to block you. And open the doors for yourself. Tell yourself, if I was able to do this, if all of this was possible, if I was already in that position, what would I tell myself today? Because you guys are going to notice as you start to get really honest with yourself, as you start to really unravel all of the things that have been holding you back, one thing you're going to notice is that there are two versions of yourself. There's the version of who you are right now, which is, there's nothing wrong with who you are right now, but obviously there are some things you guys want to change. That's why we're doing our goal setting, right? So there is kind of a version of where you are right now, and there are probably a lot of fears within that person. And then there's the person who you want to be. That person has fears too. However, they've gotten over some of the fears that you have today. And so you want to be thinking from the person who you want to become. So you want to get back in touch with that person. You want to get in touch with your higher self, the self that you're trying to be. Because when we talk about goals, ultimately, all of these goals we're trying to create, whether it's what workplace we want to be in, what work we want to be doing, the financials, and what are all of those kind of components in our life? Where do we want to live? Where do we want to travel to? Who are our colleagues? What kind of housing do we want to live in? All of these things are goals, but ultimately the purpose of aiming for those things is to create a new you, right? You guys all want to feel differently about yourselves. You want to feel more confident because you've achieved those things. You want to have better living conditions. You want to feel more proud about the contribution that you're making. You want to be able to see the change that you're creating, because it's also going to change who you are as a person. So we're all working towards becoming an upgraded version of ourselves. But if you cannot make decisions from that person, and you're still making your decisions from the person who has not yet achieved those things, you're not going to be able to achieve those things. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions about this. Just that idea that we're all aiming to be a different person, and the only way to get there is you have to make decisions from where you're going, not from where you are right now. And this applies the more desperate you are right now, or the worse your situation, the more you need to make the decision from who you want to become. Otherwise, you're going to fall into this vicious cycle of staying exactly where you are right now, because you're making decisions from all of the things that are not working, from all of the issues you're having, and that those decisions are going to lead to more similar decisions, and everything is made out of a a state of desperation, and you're going to feel like you're trying and trying and trying to reach a goal, and the goal is just going to keep slipping away because you're still making decisions within this vicious cycle of desperation mode versus what do I want mode. All right. I know it's not easy. I know it's when you're not yet in that reality, it can be tough to take the decisions from that reality, because there's always the fear of, but what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't work? What if there's all this unknown, and it's gonna be tough. But that's really the only way to get there, is to pretend you're already there. Imagine you are that person and just feel like you are that person, and then check in with yourself and then ask yourself, all right, having already achieved all of these things, what would I tell myself to do right now? So there you go. And obviously, and this is something again that I've noticed with my own career and with my own progression, one of the easiest ways to do all this is to hire someone who has already done it. So who has already been through some of the things that you are planning on going through, and who can shortcut that. So in my case, for example, I spent 10 years building my career. So if you can shortcut that process and not spend those 10 years or just spend less time, then absolutely, absolutely find someone who has already done it. And this is, I mean, we're so lucky these days that we have the internet, because in the past, this was something that was just not possible for us. So all you could really do to learn about how to do something was go to the library and read a book. There was no way to get an actual person to help you out unless you met that person on the street, unless it was someone you knew, unless you were already in that bubble, right? And then these days, you can find these people on the internet. So if there's someone who has already done what you intend to do, find out, I mean, pay them what it is that they want to be paid. Time is so much more valuable than money. And anyway, it's going to help you guys to get a great position where you can be paid all that money back. So don't hesitate to find someone who has done what you want to do, pay them what they want to be paid, what they need to be paid for them to really, really help you 100%, and just get to where you guys want to go, okay? That would be my best advice to you. That's the advice that worked for me. That's the advice I'm still using today. I'm still doing all of these things because yes, I have another upgraded version of myself that I'm heading towards, and it's still scary, and I'm still having to make these decisions every day. I'm still every day having to get honest about all of the things that that are holding me back. I mean, this is something that continues forever, but the first time you really, really start doing this will be the hardest, because you won't have seen all of the amazing results that this will create. So the first time tends to be the most difficult, because maybe you're still feeling like maybe, oh, what if it's not possible for me? And what if I fail? And all that kind of thing. So you want to start reframing this and really getting honest with yourself, really getting honest about what is failure actually for me. And for a lot of people, failure would be settling for what they have right now and just staying in the same place. So give you guys the give yourselves the gift of actually getting to that higher level, becoming the person who you want to be, getting clear on who that person is, what have they created, and how are they helping the world? How are they helping other people, right? Give yourselves that gift. Get back in line with the contribution that you want to create, and then get rid of all of the excuses that are holding you back. You're going to have to get resourceful, especially for the kinds of positions that you guys are going for. You're going to have to be really resourceful, because we're the kind of professionals, I know for those of you who are here in this group, you're the kind of professionals who want to be solving some of the biggest problems that exist in the world. So these are tough problems, but they're also the problems that are worthwhile attacking. These are the problems that are worthwhile being involved in. They're really tough, but they're so worthwhile. And then the other big challenge that is the most worthwhile is the challenge of reaching your upgraded self, getting clear on everything that's holding you back, and getting clear on how to overcome that. There's the inner challenge that we're all working on, upgrading ourselves, and that is going to help us to also contribute to those outer challenges in terms of what is going on with the planet right now. As you guys know, there are so many issues that need to be resolved. At the same time, we're so lucky to be living in this age. There's so much that is getting better, that is improving, and there are so many people we have access to. There are so many opportunities. It's like, why not us? Why not now? Why not go ahead and solve these things, live our most amazing lives, help people at the level that we want to be helping them? There is absolutely no reason to stay stuck, okay? We are lucky people. We all have internet connections. We all have, most of you guys are pretty well educated as well, even if you're not, even if you don't have university degrees, you got to go to high school most likely. You guys are some of the luckiest people on the planet, so we need to take advantage of everything that we have, all of these opportunities, get resourceful when there's something that we don't have that we need, and rise to the challenges and just do it. So that is our 2019 goal setting. Again, I didn't want to just do the same things that everyone else is doing in terms of the goal setting, because there's so much already out there. I really wanted to emphasize what I'm seeing as the main blocks for people. If you feel like you have another block that we didn't talk about, and that that you have something different, type it out in the comments. I will come back to the comments, we will discuss, and otherwise let me know, what is your block? What is really the thing that's stopping you? And this week we're gonna still be doing some career roadmap sessions. We were gonna be closing down over the holidays, and then so many of you were telling me, no, I really, really want to get a new job in 2019. This is my #1 priority. So what we've done with my team is we have agreed to open up a few slots on the calendar for this week. So if you guys go to our calendar, the link is accelerate-yourambitions.com/apply, and that's gonna allow you to apply for a career roadmap session. So these are free sessions, and they are sessions that are gonna help you to get clarity around what are your goals, what is it that you're aiming towards, as well as what are those blocks. Because I know that sometimes when you're just on your own and in your own head, it can be really, really tough to understand what exactly has been stopping you. Like I mentioned before, there are so many nuances even within all of the things that you've tried. So we need to see what are the things, what are the nuances that you still need work on, what has been blocking you towards getting where you want to go. And so you can apply for one of those sessions on the calendar. After that, you're going to be taken to a short application form. That is to fill out what your situation is so we can get prepared for the call. And then we're going to hop on the call at the time that you choose. We're going to get clarity around what your issues are. We're going to see if we're able to help you and if you're a good fit for our program. We can only have a few people at a time within the program, but either way, whether you're a good fit for it or not, and whether there's room for you or not in the course right now, we're gonna still get you a lot of clarity around what are those nuances that you need to be working on, where are you headed in 2019. We need to get you guys into where you wanna go on the right path, so that come this time, 2020, you are not in the same place, okay? That is not what any of us want. We want to get you into this place really where you've achieved what it is that you've set out to achieve and you're still growing. So there's no end point, obviously, but it is totally possible. And I was talking to someone else yesterday where she was going, I love my job, I love it. And she was in that phase of wanting to help other people because she was literally so happy with what she's doing. And it was interesting for me because the same thing happened to me where I literally got to the stage where I was going, I have reached the dream. I am so happy. And what's the next step? I guess it's to help other people achieve the same thing. And I just had this wonderful person reach out to me yesterday asking how she could get involved with the program because she loves her job so much and she wants to help other people. And so the reason this is such an amazing place to be when you're finally living the dream is because you get out of desperation mode and you're in this mode of who else can I help? What else can I do for the world? What else is possible if this is possible? And you see the big, big difference between someone who's constantly in that struggle, constantly trying to achieve the thing and never actually achieving it versus someone who has achieved it. Obviously, they have new goals from there. They want to keep growing from there. But they feel like they're in a position where they can help others as opposed to being a victim of circumstance or just barely being able to support themselves or get themselves through the day, let alone start helping other people. So imagine if every single one of us could be in that position of living the dream, contributing the way that we want, being able to actually support others. I mean, the whole world would be a changed place to live. So this is And we know that it's possible because I work with people who have achieved it. So it is possible. Why not for you? Why not for you? And more, I mean, the more people I work with, I really see what is stopping so many professionals from achieving what it is that they want. And it's just the lack of process. So yes, it's competitive out there. Yes, there are fewer positions that are amazing and that everyone else wants. But until you have the process and until you are aiming higher and you're getting past your own blocks, then there's no way to achieve that. So I will stop talking now and I will let all of you guys start your New Year's preparations, and let me know in the comments what your blocks are, what questions you have, and then don't forget to check if there are any slots for you for a career roadmap session so that we can help you and really get you onto the right foot for 2019. And I'm so excited to see all of the things that are going to unfold for you guys this year, and especially the kind of mission you're going to be choosing for yourselves and the kind of contribution that you're going to be making, most importantly. So speak to you guys soon. I will see you on those career roadmap sessions, or if it's not me, it'll be a member of my team. The link for that is accelerate.yourambitions.com/apply. And if you guys feel like you already have a job that you're starting off for 2019, or you're already living the dream and you're happy with your jobs, then send this to someone else who needs it. Send it to someone in need, who's feeling stuck, who does not want to be stuck in the same place come 2020. So thanks for watching. I'm so happy to spend the last day of 2018 with you. And yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.